All right, the best hypothesis discussions in this module. There was one from week 14 with social media and narcissism, and then also one was pretty good from week 15, which had to deal with coding as literacy. So back up to 14. One interesting video that we watched was how social media is affecting teens. A couple interesting quotes. One was from Cecily, and the other one was from Pele. And so, also boiled down to parents have a responsibility to ensure their teen is properly using and engaged in social media. They need to take responsibility, and they also need to make sure that there is time for students to put down their technology and be able to daydream and use their imaginations and creativity. This is important because that downtime away from your computer provides the ability for the brain to work and neural connections to work in different ways and to help develop empathy, which is important, especially as the world becomes a more crowded place, more people moving into urban centers, and just the ability to understand somebody else's position. So I think both of the quotes that they have here were interesting, and a good point is that they have a responsibility, making sure students have free time without electronic devices to kind of think and reflect and process things, and then use their own brains rather than somebody else's creations is an important part of their development. The second one dealt with the article that we read by Kyle Smoker. The bombardment again of social media, friends, and being caught in the loop of only hearing one point of view and getting caught in that filter bubble. And so you only hear stuff that you're interested in, and you don't hear anything that you're not interested in. But that's important to achieve balance. And he brings it up and addresses this issue in this quote here. And I think it's important for all of us, whether we like it or not, is to look at other sides of the coin, look at other people's perspective, helps us have a better understanding of our position and also theirs as well. So periodically I get back on and I try to look at both sources. So look at something like from the Guardian, which tends to be a more leftist or liberal newspaper, the New York Times. And then when I'm running counter, then I'll go take a perspective from the National Review, which is definitely a conservative publication. Look at the headlines and then read about different positions. If I'm feeling kind of frisky, then I'll go to Al Jazeera and get definitely a different point of view from there. So I think this is important not to get caught into that filter bubble and look at different aspects of things. So better have an understanding of other folks' ideas as well. Helps us understand our position. So that was Kyle's. And the last one dealt with this week. And Sam talked about learning to teach kids to code. And there's a big push, and I'm always concerned or bothered when they say everybody must do this or everybody must learn this. I disagree with that on a number of different reasons. We won't get into all those right now. But he kind of brings another point, and I like the way he brought it up. I think it's, while this presentation is completely, especially noting that kids who use a ton of tech aren't necessarily fluent, I'm still not convinced that everyone needs to learn code. I play team sports, and I think they're great. You learn to work together towards the set goals. You learn discipline. You make friends, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean that team sports are right for everyone. Some people prefer a one-on-one sport, e-sports, self-directed sports, no sports, exercise, etc. I feel the same thing about coding. It can be great, but it's not necessarily for everyone. And I would definitely agree with Kyle on that issue, that I think it's important to offer that, encourage it, have students try it, see if they're interested, and those should continue on. And those that don't, well, at least they tried it and they move on, rather than trying to push this down everybody's throat and say everybody needs to learn the code in the modern age. Yeah, I don't think so. So anyway, those are some interesting quotes from discussions, either from articles that we read or videos that we watched in Module 15.